Hello guys, and welcome to a new episode of The Inner Project. In this episode, I'll share with you my 2025 book recommendation. I'm gonna show you the books in no particular order. The first book I'm gonna share with you for this 2025 is the 1984 from George Orwell. For those who you have not read it, it talks about a dystopic world where government basically controls everything in the culture, in the daily basis of the people. It is a classical in Europe. Here in Mexico, I didn't have the chance to read it when I was young, but now that I'm getting more into philosophy and a little bit into politics, I notice a lot of people from this area make a lot of references to this book. That's why I said okay, I have to read it. If you have not read it, don't miss the chance. That's my recommendation. The second book I want to share with you is this one, The Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea, Yukio Mishima. This book is just fantastic. I discovered this writer through a TikTok that recommended Yukio Mishima books because beyond his history and all the activism and politics he did, in Japan, his writing and very accurate way to portray the Japanese culture through his stories, it's just very accurate and very creative. The way I can resume this is that if you take any of these characters and you put them in any other country, the story will not be the same. These characters are very well characterized by their culture and their country they live in. So if you have not read anything from him, don't miss the chance. I recommend completely this book. It's a very interesting book. The next book is 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. This is a very special book for me because it incentivized my passion for reading. Even though it took me 1 year and a half to finish, this is the first book I finished as an adult. When I was in high school and secondary school, of course, I read a couple books, all the ones I had to read for school. But this is the very first book that I choose myself and I finish in a decent period of time. I have another one from H.P. Lovecraft that it took me 6 or 7 years to finish, so that doesn't count as a proper decent time to finish a book. But this is the first one that I finish in a decent time. I know Jordan Peterson can be a very controversial person, specifically because his way of thinking about family, and he's a very old school person, very conservative in his politics and way of thinking, but don't let that misguide you. He knows a lot and he's a very good philosopher. This is his second book and all their books go towards psychology and behavior. He's a kind of conductivist psychology because these 12 rules of life that he recommends are basically just actions and stands that you take in your daily basis to achieve a higher quality of life. So give it a try, I really recommend this. The next two books, I don't have them with me. I read both as an ebook. The first one is A Brief Introduction to Hegel by Peterson. Hegel, since I discovered him, it's been one of my favorite philosophers. Just to make it short, he was the creator of the materialism. His philosophy says that there's this dualism between human mind and objects. The mind always have a relationship of two. What the mind see, what the mind perceive, what the mind touch. As humans, we have a relationship with everything. With the chairs, with the streets we walk, with the car we drive, with the work we have, with the pen you hold in your hand, the laptop you are using, the phone you are using to watch this. The human mind is basically connected to everything, and each mind creates their own reality based on the material things around him. That's a very, very brief description of his work and a very brief description of materialism. To be honest, I'm starting just to read his work. I was searching on internet and they say his work is a very difficult one. He has a specific way of writing that it can get confused. So before I jump right into him, I decided to read this book, Brief Introduction. And it was fantastic. It guides you through his whole life and all his works to make you better understand about him and what he says and what he thinks and what's his philosophy about. So definitely it's a very good way to start to read Hegel. So if you like philosophy, and especially modern philosophy, you should look into it, because most of the modern philosophy base their work on Hegel, or at least they always reference him in some way to his work. And last but not least, I'll recommend you Paz en la Guerra de los Sexos. This is a book by Juan Miguel Zunzunegui. He's a Mexican author. He's an historian, philosopher, who also has studies on theology. So he knows a lot about culture and history, and this book, it's just the best of both worlds. He gives an explanation of the origin of the current cultural problem that we have between men and women, how it began, why it's still a problem nowadays, and his suggestion of how to make peace with each other. It's a very good book. It has a lot of good references. Even though he's a Mexican writer, these problems, you can find them all over the world. So no matter where are you from, this book might be interesting for you. And that's it for this video, guys. Thank you for coming all the way here. I hope you enjoy. Let me know if you have read any of these books or if you plan to read any of these. If you like my recommendations, once more, thank you for being here, and I see you on the next one. Bye-bye.